Does mindset really matter? Today on the Daily Is Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Daily Is Show, a show not just for rental housing providers, but anybody looking to get a little bit more white space on your calendar. Welcome to the show again. It's good to be here. It's been a long week, and I am ready to put this sucker to bed, but not without doing the Daily Is Show, because I know now that I have been not traveling as much, I missed doing this. I really did. So today's topic: does mindset really matter that much? And I got to be honest with you, when I first started hearing about mindset and, back in the day, I was like, I just thought, honestly, it was just a bunch of feel good nonsense. It was all stuff that had been put out by guys like Brian Tracy, Jack Canfield. You've got John Maxwell, of course, Tony Robbins, and a host of others. And to be honest with you, there was just so much stuff that was being put out there, and it was just so much feel good stuff just being punched into your face like birthday cake, right? I just thought it was a bunch of feel good stuff, too touchy feely for me, right? Whoa, that's just way too close, right? But the reality was I was working my tail off, and I didn't start working on mindset stuff until I really wasn't seeing much in the way of progress. I was working 40, 60, 80 hours a week sometimes. And it just didn't seem like I was moving the needle very much, right? Just wasn't seeing much in the way of progress. My bank account wasn't showing it. Certainly my relationships weren't showing much progress. And then I started recognizing, well, maybe there is something into this. So let me ask you this. Do any of these things sound familiar? Now, these are all things that I experience personally. So this is not judgment, it's confession. All right. But procrastinating, continually putting stuff off. I was forever putting stuff off, procrastinating until the very last minute, seeking perfection. I wouldn't finish something until it was absolutely done. I had to constantly seek perfection, which was just a fool's errand. I was hiding inactivity, meaning I was just doing lots of busy work, but I wasn't being very effective. Something even worse than that was I was hiding in inactivity, meaning that I had so many things to do that I wouldn't do any of them. I had, anybody have that list out there of that to-do list of 97 things, and you think you're going to get them all done at the same time, right? That's impossible, right? That was hiding in inactivity. Massively good at making excuses, right? I've heard before that you can make money or you can make excuses, but it's really hard to make both. One of the main things on top of that was I wasn't taking any ownership I wasn't taking any internal ownership. I was blaming all these external events in terms of why, bad economy or, my enemies, whatever it was that was going on. I had all of these blaming of external events. Here's one is not finishing things. Man, I became an expert of not finishing things. I was perfect. I was excellent at doing 80% of a job, whatever it was. Allowing distractions to exist in my life, right? Those TikTok videos are not going to watch themselves, coach. Come on, right? Let's just allowing distractions to exist in my life, whatever it was, whatever the distraction was. And for some of you, and this is, again, this is confession, not judgment. But for some of us serial entrepreneurs, that means starting a new business like every other week, right? You get an idea for a new business and then you're starting up another business, which is just a distraction when the other business isn't even up and running yet, or the other 3 businesses that you have going, or the other 5 businesses that you have going. I had a conversation with a lady the other day who she had sent me a friend request, and we got chatting back and forth a little bit. And she was saying that she's got this buy and hold business and this fix and flip business and wholesaling business, and she's starting to get into commercial property. She's looking at getting her broker's license, and I was like, "Holy crap! When are you going? How do you have time to do any of this?" Right? Well, just out there hustling, trying to make it happen. And I could almost sense the exhaustion on the other end of the screen as she's telling me all these things that she was trying to get done in her life, right? Which leads me to the next thing: not rewarding yourself and not allowing yourself any downtime. You've got to reward your inner child, otherwise it's just going to be ignored. Here's one that was really the one I really struggled with: is fear of failure, which is, I think a lot of people can relate to that. The fear of failure is actually a fear of criticism, but I had a massive fear of success. Well, who, like, that's crazy, coach. Who would have a fear of success? I'm telling you, it was real for me. And that fear of success was actually related to a fear of loss, because it's easier to never have something than to have it and to lose it, right? The struggle becomes very familiar, and it's easy to fall in love with the struggle. It's easy to want the struggle. You get addicted to the struggle because it's safe. It's the struggle that you know. A few more here: being argumentative or needing to be right. I felt back in my 20s, you couldn't tell me anything. I was always right. This next one is one that is particularly painful for me to admit: is rescuing others, rescuing other people. Well, let me tell you, it there's a couple reasons why I was rescuing others, and there's a couple reasons why I think other people rescue others as well. But I'll tell you my reasons. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to just to confess here. But when I was rescuing others, guess what? I didn't get to have to didn't guess what I didn't have to work on. I didn't have to work on my head trash. Oh, you're broken. Oh, you're a mess. I can fix you, right? I know exactly what's wrong with you, but I didn't have to work on my own head trash. But here is probably the more deeper reason, and the one that's a little bit stickier for me to admit, is that I didn't have a good sense of self-worth. I did it so others would like me. And because I had a low sense of self-worth, I was doing it so if I help them, maybe they're going to like me a little bit better, right? And that was rough. Complaining, right? Do you ever notice that people complain to the wrong person? They go to their job and complain about their spouse, and then they go to their spouse and complain about their job, right? They're complaining to the wrong person, and they're just complaining because they can actually change something. No one's complaining about gravity, but they are that you can generally do something that you're complaining about. So change it, right? It was for me, it was really, really a bad habit that I got into, of just complaining about things, thinking that I've arrived, that I didn't have to think anymore, that I'm like, oh, I already know this. I don't have to do anything anymore. I'm good to go. Or I've made my money for the month. I don't have to work any harder. Constantly comparing myself to others, constantly being late, missing deadlines, not following through on commitments. This last one here, well, this is the second to last one, but not holding on to money. I had such a terrible relationship with money that what I didn't recognize is that making money and having money are actually two different sets of skills. I didn't recognize that until far later, that making money is a math problem, right? Revenues exceed expenses, you have money left over. That's a math problem. But but holding onto money, keeping money, that's an emotional problem. And when I was out spending money because, again, didn't have a strong sense of self-worth, that was that bad relationship with money that I had, that I, no matter how much I made, I never seemed to hang on to it. Right. And then the last one here is buying things that are not earned, taking time off that's not earned, right? Thinking I deserve this, right? We just talked about that with related to money, and about 12,000 other things, other self-sabotaging behaviors that occur. I mean, you can fill in your own, like, I'm not here to indict anybody, but that is exactly what happened. But it wasn't until I started addressing the self-sabotaging behaviors that things really changed for me. Not just the self-sabotaging behaviors, but the underlying limiting beliefs that were holding me back. And what was I doing? I was doing things like affirmations. I got a coach to help hold me accountable to the things that I said that I was actually that I wanted to do, the things that I wanted, identifying the things that I wanted. I started educating myself. All things neuroscience. I was looking into neuroscience, something called NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming, neuroplasticity, neurogenesis, epigenetics, even things like hypnosis, self hypnosis, which actually all hypnosis is self-hypnosis, but recognizing too that I needed an internal locus of control, and recognizing that I was the source of all of my own misery. That if I could not see myself as part of the problem, I could never see myself as part of the solution. Then all of a sudden things changed. They didn't change right away, but they changed slowly at first. But it started first with my relationships. My marriage became stronger. And then once my marriage became stronger, all of a sudden my friendships became more authentic. And the ones who couldn't handle a level of true authenticity, well, unfortunately, they went away. They couldn't handle that. Wealth in my life became far more abundant, and it became easier to come by. And while I was having some massive financial problems, I had to recognize that where I didn't get to where I was overnight, so I sure as heck wasn't going to be able to fix them overnight. So that's the reality. That's what happened with me. And, once I started really changing things for me, once I started focusing on my mindset, and things really were going to change for me, um, that was really it. It was that choice that I made, that conscious choice that I made. And honestly, if this is something that you'd like to talk about, drop me a line, landlordcoach.com. I'd be happy to help you out any way that I can. All right, everybody, that is all I have for today. We got some comments. Let's see here. Excellent stuff. We are usually the source of our own misery. Yep, very true, Sean. And I know you are a fellow coach as well, so I know that you recognize that too. All right. Well, listen, everybody, I'm going to wrap up for the weekend. I hope you had an amazing week, and I hope you got a cool, amazing weekend plans. I'd love to hear about them. Go ahead and post them in the comments section and let me know what you plan on doing this weekend. And please be sure to place a value on your free time, because if you don't, someone else will. But most important, there is no amount of money that will make time irrelevant. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you next time.